Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Invest Newark's Procurement and Certification Prep Series. We welcome you this afternoon. We'll be hearing from the Essex County Small Business Development and Affirmative Action Office. Without further ado, I just want to get us started. Just as a reminder, everyone is muted upon entry. When you want to ask a question, please unmute yourself or simply type your question in the chat room. For those that are only listening in and do not have a screen in front of them, please ensure that you submit your email address so that we can send the slides and additional flyers and attachments to you accordingly. So I am Vanessa Quijano, the Senior Vice President of Business Development at Invest Newark. We are here to ensure that we advance economic prosperity to all Newarkers. And we do so by ensuring you have access to knowledge, like this webinar, access to capital, like grants and loans, access to land through either our land bank or through our real estate connections, and also access to additional business opportunities like contracts and bids. So to ensure that you can find our information, please go to investnewark.org. I also wanted to share that if you're still interested in COVID-19 emergency funding, either from federal, state, and local sources, send an email to us at capitalconsulting@investnewark.org to get an appointment with one of our consultants. Just one reminder, we are holding several types of webinars. We have our Language of Capital series this evening with M&T Bank. It's the 6th session of our series. Then on Monday, we have a series on marketing to help you and your business, specifically on social media. And then next Friday, we have our Financial Fridays, and we're going to be learning about opportunity zones and the benefits that they are affordable to you and your business. You can find all those events at investnewark.eventbrite.com to register. Of course, if your business is open or you're planning to reopen, or you're also available online, make sure you get found. And you can do that by adding your business to the Invest Newark Business Directory at directory.investnewark.org. So without further ado, I want to introduce our speaker for today. Dr. Jobi Odeneye is the Outreach and Engagement Manager for the Essex County Office of Small Business and Affirmative Action. In this position, he reaches out to small, women-owned, veteran-owned, and minority-owned businesses. He encourages these businesses to compete successfully for contracts by providing support and technical assistance based on strategic partnerships. For over 2 decades, he was a small business owner himself with interest in finance, food production, wholesale distribution, import, and export. His versatile work experience traversed construction, auto dealership, electronic, and technology sales, including working for Verizon. Dr. Odeneye is also a professor in an MBA program where he teaches management and marketing courses. So without further ado, Dr. Odeneye.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'll just wait for the slide to come up so that I'll be able to.
You're right with you. There we go. Take a second.
Once again, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jobi Odeneye with the Essex County Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action. This is one of the ways that we use to interact with small businesses. Next slide, please. I bring you greetings from our county executive, Joseph DiVincenzo. and my director, Samuel Oparake, the Small Business SBDAA director. One thing that brought about our office, which I want to give you a brief background into how our office came to being, was the executive commitment of our county executive when he took office about 17 years ago. He realized that there was a huge disparity between what contracts that were going out to the general public, the large and medium businesses, compared to what the small businesses, especially minority, women-owned, and veteran-owned businesses. One thing that research has shown over the years is that for any change to come about in any organization or at the government level, there must be adequate commitment from the executive, and that's what our our executive, the county executive, has in putting about a disparity study to ensure that we actually know exactly what are the disparity that were obtainable at that point. To that effect, the University of Minnesota was commissioned to carry out a disparity study, which confirmed what the county executive perceived, that there was huge disparity, and that the minority, woman-owned, veteran-owned businesses are at a disadvantage when it comes to total contract awards. As such, based on this report, there was a set aside ordinance that was implemented in 2017. But before that came about, the Office of Small Business was established about 10 years ago. Next slide, please. Now, when it was established, like I said, about 10 years ago, the mission predominantly was to ensure that small minority-owned, women-owned, veteran-owned businesses are well positioned to successfully compete for contracts. And the emphasis on that is by ensuring that we give equal opportunity and fair play in the procurement and contracting processes of Essex County. It is not sufficient that every contract should go out to the big players. We want to ensure that small businesses with emphasis on the minority, woman-owned, and veteran-owned elements are adequately represented. And how do we do that? That's what we are going to talk about in the next slide. Next slide, please. To do that, we have strategic partnerships with private sector financiers and insurers of small businesses. We realize, of course, that one of the bane of small businesses is finance. You know, as a small business owner myself, at a point, one of the genuine need of small business is how to finance their businesses. And that's why we have relationships with so many financial organizations to ensure that small businesses are able to get the needed resources to be able to compete successfully for business. And not only that, insurance also. There are some contracts that do require some elements of bonding. To be able to do that too, we have relationships that we can, make sure that my small businesses are able to benefit from such relationship, especially when it comes to getting finance. Of course, the big banks are more attuned to the big businesses, which is not surprising. And that's why when the last rounds of grants and loans came out from the federal government and even the state government, it was difficult for some small businesses to get access to those kind of finances. So to mitigate that, we have this relationship with some organizations, not only organizations like NJDA or some CDFIs, community development financial institutions like UCDC, like Greater Newark Enterprises Corporation, to ensure that we are able to introduce you, if you want, to those kind of organizations so that you can get the financial resources that you need. We also do embark on outreach to individuals and to groups and organizations. That's part of the reason why I'm on this kind of forum. And I thank the Invest Newark for inviting me to share what we do with businesses in Newark. We have this kind of relationship that will expand our network with small businesses, especially like I kept emphasizing, minority, women-owned, and veteran-owned businesses. In addition to that, we do have technical assistance. A lot of small businesses, even predominantly one-man show. It's owned and operated by one individual. So in such situation, it may be difficult to for the one individual to do everything. Not only is the knowledge and capability missing, but because there is limitation in terms of what they can do at a particular point in time, they will need technical assistance. And that's why we provide such technical assistance. If you have issues with certifications, we can connect you with organizations like the Small Business Development Corporation of Rogers. They will help you with that. If you have issues with financing, like I mentioned, we have when it comes to technical assistance, even filling out the forms. In the case of the grants and loans that just lapsed, filling out the form could be cumbersome to some people. So we have some organizations like the SBDAA that I just mentioned, or even chambers of commerce, American Chamber of Commerce, the statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We have all these assistants that we can direct you so that they will be able to help you to adequately prepare and apply for such financing and bonding. I'm aware that the African American Chamber of Commerce actually has a grant to prepare small businesses to help in terms of bonding. So if you want to get bonding, they have classes. That's it. They set up. They will set. They walk you through from the beginning to the end until you get your bonding, and they will connect you with the appropriate organization to get your bonding. Also, we do collaborative partnerships with groups and organizations, that are involved in providing equal opportunities to small businesses. That's such collaborative partnership is one of the reasons why I'm here. And we do that with so many organizations. Like tomorrow, we have a collaboration with NJDA, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. They will be having a presentation. We have a webinar with them tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I'll talk in detail about that later in the program. But those are the kind of things we do to be able to ensure that we are able to meet the needs of small businesses. Next slide, please. Now, regarding our procurement process, the County of Essex, just like any other government establishment, procures literally everything, from something as minute as toilet paper to something very gigantic as, multi-story buildings, constructing multi-story buildings, or even technological procurement, some things that are very technical. But to be able to benefit from these, the first thing you need to do is to have a BRC, which we call a business registration certificate. You can do that at the local level if you want to just have a simple business name. That's fine. Go to the Hall of Records and register your business name, or you can do it at the state level, by which you can have a limited liability corporation, or you can even have an incorporation. The benefit of having LLC and incorporation is that those ones are kind of separate from you as a person. So if for any reason, God forbid, your business should go belly up down the line, the benefit of having LLC versus a business name or incorporation, as the case may be, is that you are not, your personal property will not be involved in whatever the bankruptcy solution for that business. So you may go get out of that situation unscathed on a personal note. That is, if you have not used your personal property for any particular reason. But if you have it as a business name, it is integrated with your business, and as such, you may be liable at that point. So those are the things to bear in mind when you are doing business registration. And like I said, you can do it at the local level, at the Hall of Records, or you can go to the state. If you go on their website, you will be able to do that. Or call them up, information are there. Now, as far as the county is concerned, every Tuesday, we do have information that goes out through the Star Ledger, and it also goes out online, so that if there's any bid that's coming out, all those bids will be announced online. And this has to do mostly with competitive bidding. When it comes to anything, any bid that's above 17,500, it goes out to the public. There are some bids that don't go out to the public. Anything above below 17,500, they don't go. They may not go out to the public, and they will just call on a few registered vendors. Once they give us their quote, we'll pick whichever one is the lowest responsible bidder. And I want to emphasize that it's not just the lowest bidder. It has to be responsible. If toilet paper, for instance, is costing $1, and you tell us that you are the lowest bidder, you want to supply it at 20 cents, that is not responsible, because we know you may not be able to procure it at that amount and be able to make profit for yourself. So those are the kind of things that we take into consideration. That to be able to take advantage of our bidding process, I will recommend that all of you listening to me should try to register to get bid notices on our purchasing portal. If you go to essexcountynj.org, click on the purchasing tab. If you register your business, what will happen is every Tuesday, if there is anything relevant in your area, and I want to emphasize again, as far as that is concerned, ensure that you indicate the things that are peculiar to your business. What are the things that you majorly do, so that they will, remember, this is an automated system. It's whatever category that you put yourself, that's what you will get information on. So make sure that you are thorough when you are filling out the form. And if you have any problem at all with that, with establishing yourself on the portal, please feel free to reach out to our purchasing office. Their phone number is 973-621-5100. Now, I want you to get a distinction. There are times that some processes don't go through the competitive bidding process, and those that are exempted from bid that have bid exemptions are the professional services. For instance, services that require special licenses to procure, like lawyers, medical professionals, doctors, engineers, pharmacists, and stuff like that. They require special certification. Their bids are not like the lowest bidder that we said. Initially, the lowest responsible bidder. It goes through a process that we refer to as competitive contracting or request for proposal process, RFP. What's different about that is once you are registered with us, still you have to register with the purchasing office for you to get that RFP. So once you register, if there's something relevant to your area, it will be sent to you. With the RFP process, not only does it require, once the bid is, when you put in your proposal, it requires the approval of the freeholders of the county. So that may take a little bit of a process because we have to wait for the time that the freeholders are convening for us to get the approval. One thing that I want you to distinguish between competitive bids and request for proposal is that unlike competitive bid that has to do with lowest responsible bidder, the case is not that is not applicable may not be applicable in the case of a request for proposal. At this point, it is what is most advantageous in terms of pricing and other factors considered. So you may actually be the highest bidder in this RFP process, and you will be the one that will be given the contract because a lot of factors are being considered, including pricing and your technical ability, your references, and stuff like that. And this kind of RFP process, more often than not, it's an extended term contract. It's not a one-shot contract like you have in the competitive bidding process. It gives you like a 12 to 24 months contract. So if we have anything in that area, because you have been approved or designated, so to say, to give us your service in that area, we will be reaching out to you throughout the point of your contract. But other than that, we'll go to the next slide, please. Now, if you recall, I did mention about bonding when I was saying that African American Chamber of Commerce, who we have relationship with, do have bonding training, to help businesses to get bonding. Most of our contracts do not require bonding. Bonding is only required when you have contracts that are above 100,000. Maybe at that point we may require bonding. But like you said, if you need assistance, reach out to us. We will use our connections in terms of technical assistance to be able to help you. One thing that's very important to most small businesses, because of the fact that revenue, the income, cash fluidity may be kind of limited. You are concerned about how do you get paid, and that's why some individuals may be reluctant to do business with government because they feel they take forever to pay. But the truth is, the county is actually set up in a way to ensure that we can pay any vendor every 2 weeks. So we have every 2 weeks we are able to make payments to vendors. I mean, if you make sure, of course, to be able to benefit from that, you have to make sure that you submit all needed documents. Make sure they are signed. You dot cross your T's and dot your I's, and make sure that you submit everything required of you upon completion of contract. One thing that the county cannot do, yes, go ahead, please.
Oh, Dr. Odeneye, I was just going to say thank you for sharing that Essex County pays on every 2 weeks. I think that's very good for people to hear.
Right. You're welcome. One thing that the county cannot do, though, is that we don't do advance payment. It would have been nice if we can do that, but the law does not permit us to do it because that may help small businesses that are struggling financially. But like I said, the law does not allow us to do it. But we'll pay you as promptly as it practically possible upon completion of contract. Our focus, though, when it comes to procurement, is not just about doing business with government. We want you to be successful generally. And that's why we have, if you recall, one of the, when I was talking about the mission of our organization, we do reach out to all these different organizations outside the county in terms of looking for procurement opportunities that will help small businesses. So not only do we want you to get contracts with the county of Essex, we want you to be able to get contracts with the PSC&G of this world, with the Prudential of this world. You know, we reach out to public organizations like the Port Authority of New Jersey, the New Jersey Transit, New Jersey Department of Labor. At the federal level, we reach out to the organization handling their GSA schedule, which is responsible for about 21%, about 21% of all federal government contracts. So we even reach out to individuals at the local level, like the city of Newark, the other counties that have set aside, like the Austin County, Bergen County, Mercer County. I will elaborate further about what set aside means when we are talking later. But the reason why I'm bringing that up now is there are instances that you may, as a small business, you may have an idea, you may have an offering or a service or product that you want to sell. If we cannot readily help you at that point, all these contacts that we have at the federal, state, and local level, we can introduce you to them. Like, for instance, as far as the set aside counties that I mentioned, Austin, Bergen, and Mercer, there are times that they will reach out to us, they want somebody to do this kind of thing. We'll go through our list of individuals that are registered with us, and we will be able to send them the information that, oh, this business has performed this with us. Maybe you may consider using this particular business. And we have had success stories like that. People coming back that, oh, we got business because of the introduction we made. So the point we are emphasizing is it is not sufficient for you to be able to do business with the government of Essex County. Of course, we would love that to happen, but we want you to be successful generally. So that's why we go to organizations outside of Essex County to help you. In furtherance of that, if you recall at the beginning of this presentation, I did mention that we have an event coming up tomorrow with the NJDA. We have another one that's going to come up, I believe, September 10, with the Port Authority of New Jersey and NJ Transit. So those are the kind of things that we do to help individuals to progress in their businesses. Aside from that, we reach out to private businesses also, the PSC&G of this world, Prudential, United Airlines. So like I said, we want to diversify your business, your opportunities, so to say. And we are in doing this also, we reach out to chambers. There are a lot of chambers of commerce, African American Chamber of Commerce, statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, NJ Veteran Chamber of Commerce, whose goals are in sync with what we do, helping small businesses, especially minority, women-owned, and veteran-owned. So if you have things that you need help to, we can introduce you to them in such a way that they will, they go out of their way to canvas for your interest. They will, if you want to get a contract in a particular place, they will go out of their way to set up interaction, to set up necessary linkages that may prove useful to you. And to do this generally that I've been talking about, how do we do them? Events. When before COVID-19, when in-person gathering was allowed, we go to we establish, not only we organize different events ourselves, we go to different events. Those of you that have been to such events would have seen me. I go to almost every event that has to do with small business or minor, especially, like I said, minority, women-owned or veteran-owned business. We establish workshops. If we have areas that we feel will be beneficial to you, that you may learn something from, because knowledge is very important. You know what you know. That's the truth. If you don't know as a small business owner, you may know about your business, what you do, but there are some other areas that are equally important to your business that you may not have a good knowledge about. So we bring professionals in that field to talk to you, to be able to help you out. We do webinars, websites. If you go on our website, every day you will see new information that's telling you about what may be relevant to your business. And if you take advantage of those, even social media, you will be able to get information. Please, the next slide. Now, if you recall at the beginning of the presentation, I did mention that there was an ordinance that was passed by the County of Essex in 2017. This ordinance set up the set aside program and the joint venture program. What is the set aside program? Pretty much what it is there are some contracts that don't go out to the general public, because we realize that some minority, women-owned, veteran-owned businesses, due to their limited resources, capacity, they may find it difficult to compete with the bigger businesses in their phylum. So we set aside certain contracts that don't go out to the public, so that we ensure that such small businesses may be able to benefit from those kind of contracts, and they don't need to compete with the big business. So the way that works is, if there's a set aside on a particular venture, it's 50,000, it's 100,000. We are not going to the public with it. If you are registered with our organization, this SBDAA, we'll go through our registered vendors and we'll see, okay, this is a construction plumbing contract that's been earmarked for set aside. It's 100,000. We'll look for somebody in our, a couple of 2 or 3 businesses or more that are registered with us as minority, women-owned or veteran-owned business. And we'll say, okay, if you guys are interested, you can bid for this. If they bid, that means it gives them better opportunity of sources, because they don't have to compete with the big businesses that have a lot of resources, and they can really undercut them, because what a big construction firm can offer at 100,000, because you are a small business, it may not be feasible for you to do at 100,000. Maybe you will have to do it at 120. But with this kind of set-aside program, you don't have to compete with that kind of big business. You will compete with businesses that are in your category. And, the goal of the ordinance is that we have minimum of 15% of our total average spend for women-owned businesses and minority businesses, and 5% for veteran-owned businesses. That is even a lot more than what the state has. The state has 3% set aside for veteran-owned business. So if you are a veteran business, you are a minority business, please, I strongly encourage you, register with our office to be able to take advantage of this program. The county spends about $1 billion every year. Imagine getting contracts, being able to get contracts up to about $200 million for minority, women-owned, and veteran-owned businesses. That is a big chunk that you should be able to tap into. But for you to be able to do this, you must be certified by the New Jersey Treasury Department as a minority, woman-owned, or veteran-owned business. How do you do that? You go on their website, which I have up there. You will, all the information on how to download their information, register for the certification is there. They require, though, for instance, if you are a minority and you are in ownership of a business with different organizations, with different individuals, as the minority, you must have 51% of ownership. And aside from that, 51% of ownership means, of course, that you not only do you have ownership, but you have knowledge and capability to run the business. So you cannot say that because you put down 51% of the revenue that started the business, you are automatically qualified as a minority. If you are in construction, for instance, and you are talking about plumbing, you have no idea of how to do plumbing work, then you don't have the knowledge and capability to be certified as such. So it's not only relevant that you have ownership control, you must have the know-how about the business. Also, you need your 2 years income evaluation. And I want to emphasize that with that, of course, what that translates to is that for you to be certified as a WB or MB or VOB, you have to have been in business for a minimum of 2 years. But what I want to point out is that in terms of tax returns, you don't have to show proof that you've done several thousands or 100,000s or millions of business. Even if it's minimally as $100 or $200 that you've done on a yearly basis, so far as it's reflected on your income report, that will be acceptable to the certifying authority. And there's, of course, a fee involved of $100 for you to be able to do that. Now, one thing that I want to point out is once you have registered, you are certified as MB or WB or VOB by the State Treasury, on a yearly basis, it is incumbent upon you to make sure that you do your annual renewal. You'll get an email notification, telling you that your annual renewal is due. I will recommend that you put it on your calendar. A lot of businesses, I've seen it over and over. They will tell me, oh, I'm certified as a minority business. But by the time we check them up, they are no longer on the list. Why? Because they failed to do their annual renewal. And the annual renewal is free. You don't have to pay any fee for that. You just indicate that you are still in business. and that's pretty much it. The good news is this: the $100 fee for certification that you pay to the state to get your MBA, WB, or VOB, and when I say we now, the SBDAA, the Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action of Essex County, will refund that amount to you once you register with our organization. So once you get your certification, please, I implore you, make sure you come and register with our office. And the moment you register with us, we'll make the process available by which you can get that $100 back. Pretty much what that is we are giving you money. We are paying you to come and get money from us. It can't get better than that. Please, I can't emphasize enough, take advantage of that opportunity. Aside from the set-aside program, we have another program called Joint Venture Program, which is kind of tied into the set-aside program. And how does that work? We realize that there is generally the problem of capacity. A lot of small businesses, there's so much that they can do. Resources, they don't have a lot of, like I pointed out earlier, some of them one individual that's running the business. They, in terms of experience, they may not have 10 years of experience and stuff like that. And all those things may impede them from getting contracts with government, because if there are other individuals that are more capable, have more resources, show more experiences, and can prove their references, those are likely going to get the contract. So what what the county came up with was the joint venture program, by which if you as a minority business, you can do this, but you don't have the resources, you don't have the experience. If you look for another minority business or woman-owned business or veteran-owned business, you can join together for the purpose of bidding on that particular contract. The same thing applies to non-minority business. So if you have individuals that are not minority, they are not women-owned, they have not veteran-owned business, they have a lot of experience, even if they are because they've had experiences in the past, they have the resources, they have the capability, you can tap into that. All you need to do is form a joint venture with them and make sure that, of course, you as the minority or woman business, you are still you still have about 51% of the proceeds that's coming out of that joint venture. And that actually is a wonderful way for small businesses to get contracts that otherwise they would not have been able to get because of the limitations that may be impeding them. The next slide, please. Sorry, next slide, please. And that brings us pretty much to the end of our presentation. These are important information, contact information for our Office of Purchasing. Please take advantage of those information, including the one for our Office of Small Business. Reach out to us anytime, and we will be able to help you with anything that you need, including technical assistance and all those things that we've mentioned. I have my information in the last slide. Please feel free to reach out to me, email me, call me anytime. We'll be more than happy to help you. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. If you have any, please need the next slide, please.
Next slide.
Yes. Just so that you know, before I round up, I want to point out that we have a brochure which will be brought up in a few, and will be sent out to all of you. A lot of the questions that you may have about doing business with the county, those questions are there and they are already answered, so you can go through them. Gives you an idea of how to effectively do business with the county. In addition to that, remember I was mentioning that you need to register with our office. There's a form that will be brought up too. There's a vendor form that you need to complete. You can complete this, email me or send it to our office with your certification if you have one, and we will be able to register you on our vendors list to benefit from our set-aside program. Remember, the set-aside and joint venture program, you will not be able to benefit from them if you are not registered as a vendor with our SBDAA office. Aside from that, like I mentioned initially, we have an event that's coming up tomorrow. Access to capital is crucial to most businesses. Please make sure you come to this event tomorrow. You'll hear from NJEDA. They have a lot of products and services that you may find beneficial. Aside from that, they actually have a new one coming out, I believe, end of this month. You'll hear about all those tomorrow. Please attend that event Thursday, tomorrow at 11 a.m. You can go online and register at Eventbrite, and we will be happy to have you. Other than that, that's pretty much for me. If you have any questions,
Thank you, Dr. Odeneye. Yes, we do have a number of questions. I've just asked people, you may unmute yourselves and you can ask Dr. Odeneye directly. Also, Dr. Odeneye, while we wait for people to unmute themselves, kindly, I'm going to bring up the slide with your contact information again.
Sure.
So would anyone like to address their question to Dr. Odeneye now? Otherwise, I will can read it from the chat room, but you have the opportunity to ask Dr. Odeneye directly.
Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
Hi, my name is Kalena Witcher. I work as a psychologist in the schools, but I'm planning for my life after. You mentioned that professional services don't bid out through your office, but what kind of supports or where would professionals go for support if they're looking for instruction or guidance in procuring contracts and bids and such?
You still need to go. Thank you very much for the answer, for the question. Sorry. You still need to register your business on the purchasing portal. And that's how the Office of Purchasing will know about the service that you offer. So if there's any RFP, request for proposal, that's going out in your specific area, they will contact you and send those to you. What I mean is, it's not a competitive bid by which you get, remember I made a distinction between competitive bid and RFP. The RFP process, you don't have to be the lowest bidder for you to get it. Whereas in the competitive bid, it is possible that you are the lowest possible bidder and for you to get it. But when it comes to RFP, you still need to pretty much register on our website so that you can take advantage of it.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And also, let me address your question as well. So as someone that, is looking to, provide professional services on your own, you could first add your business to the Invest Newark business directory when you're set up. Also, in Newark, we also have a procurement portal that's specific for area businesses to put up their contracts, but also being on our business directory, looking at the directory for the services that are provided. So, because sometimes, some of the needs they have don't require a bid or don't require an RFP if it's below a certain, amount, but they still are looking for services. So I suggest you do that, is list yourself in all the different areas where it's possible. Also, if you need additional assistance regarding starting your business formation, you can also reach out to Invest Newark. I wanted to ensure that you got that information. Do you have another question, Dr. Witcher? We can't hear you. You're on mute. You could unmute yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't have a question. I just wanted to thank you. I'm mulling it over, so I need to have the steps in my head first.
Okay. Just in addition to that, I'm sorry, Dr. Witcher, I just want to point out to you is that you may benefit from our set aside program too. So once you are established, please make sure that you register with our SBDAA. There are some contracts in that category that still don't go out to general bidding.
Right.
They may be earmarked for set aside. So please take advantage of that. But like I said, since you are a startup, you may not readily qualify for that. That is something to have in the pipeline. And just like Vanessa mentioned, if you want to start your business, because we have that technical assistance liaison with other organizations, we have an organization like SBDC. That's what they do, startups. So they, if you reach out to us, if you reach out to Invest Newark, we'll be able to pull all these resources together for you.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Dr. Odeneye, there's a question in the chat room, and don't know if I believe the person is still on, from Julia Bien Ame. She's a certified MWB in New York City, and she's asking if she would be able to file as a vendor with Essex County.
With the certification, thank you very much for the question, by the way. With the certification from New York City, you still have to convert it to the state of New Jersey. You will still have to go through the process. The only difference with that is it will be expedited for you because you already have it at the state of New York. Once you go through the process with the state of New Jersey, if it's not ordinarily going to take 2 weeks, yours may take a few days because you already have an existing certification.
Yes, that's correct, Dr. Odeneye. I know New York City says that if you get a certification with them, it covers the tri-state area or the immediate area, but that is only exclusively in New York City. You do have to get the state certification. As with Dr. Odeneye, or with the Essex County Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Affairs, Affirmative Action, Invest Newark can also assist anyone that is looking to apply for their MWBE, SBE, so that you can ensure that you can apply. But now that I heard that Essex County does a refund of the fee, definitely apply and then become a register on Essex County as a vendor, so you can get that fee refunded to you.
Absolutely.
That's
One
good to
other
know
thing
that.
absolutely, that's very key. Like I said, I always joke about that. Any event that I go to, it's like we are giving you free money. We are begging you to come and take money from us, and we are still giving you money to do that. How better can it get? One thing that I want to mention with Julia is that even though you are not certified as a minority or woman-owned or veteran-owned business with the state of New Jersey at this point, you can still register with the SBDAA. You will not be able to benefit from our set-aside and joint venture program at that point, but the two things will happen. If we have events and information that may be beneficial to you, you will be able to take advantage of it. In addition, if you decide to register, which I would recommend, to register with our Office of Purchasing, the one that I mentioned earlier, if you do that, you don't have to have a minority or woman-owned certification where to do that. If you do that, you will still be able to compete with everybody. You never know. There are times that, like I always say, hey, you have to be in it to win it. If you you never know, if you feel, oh, you are competing with everybody, the everybody that you have in mind, because the contract is about 300,000, the big businesses may feel, oh, you know, this is too small, we are not interested, and you may be the only one that's applying. Guess what? Because you applied, you are in it, you win it.
Yes. Now, Dr. Odeneye, I just wanted to share one more important fact that I don't recall you specifying earlier. So in order to apply for the state certification, in order to apply for vendor registration in the state, I'm sorry, in the county, in order to apply for any of those programs, the first thing any business needs to do is register with the state. So you will need to get your New Jersey business registration certificate. That is the first step with doing business with any government entities, and also to apply for any bids or RFPs. So I'll be happy to share that information with everyone as well. If you send me an email at vquijano@investnewark.org, because that is the first step you need to do. Without that, it's either called the New Jersey Business Registration Certificate or the New Jersey BRC. Without that, you actually cannot apply for any of the programs.
I just like I mentioned earlier, there are times that you can go through the county also. If you want to do a business name registration, ordinary business name, that's not an LLC or what's it called? That's not an incorporation. You can do that, but there's limitation to what you can do with such business name. For you to, just like you rightly pointed out, for you to do some contracts, the state certification at the state level is required.
Okay. Are there any other questions? I think I addressed everything that was in the chat room. Actually, there was one question. Wait, let me just go back just in case I missed anything. So just to remind everyone, that I'll be sending the slides out. If you haven't done so yet, you can email me at vquijano@investnewark.org and put in your subject line Essex County slides, and I'll be able to send these to you later this afternoon, along with the Essex County How to Do Business brochure and the Essex County vendor registration form. Now, Dr. Odeneye, where can you find the Essex County vendor registration form online?
Yeah, it's actually on our website. I put our website information on that, on the presentation. ECSBDAA.org. If you go there, the registration is there. You can register, or if you feel free to reach out to me, I will email it to you. And my email address is jobi.odeneye@gov.
Thank you. So there's a question from, we have Jules Singletary. I'm looking for your exact question here. Was it regarding the vendor registration form? Dr. Odeneye just replied to that. Sorry if I'm not reading the right comments. I know that you, sure thing, sure thing. All right, Jewel. So without, there are no, and if there aren't any more questions, we'll be ending today's session. Thank you, Dr. Odeneye. It is always a pleasure for Invest Newark to partner with Essex County Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action. You know, we are, we partner here to help all the small businesses in our area, in our local districts, because we want to help ensure that they sustain themselves and during any situation, and are obviously also successful. So we're happy to provide all these opportunities to everyone that joined us today. So thank you, Dr. Odeneye.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for listening to me, everyone.
Everyone have a good day. Please be well and be safe.